The following podcast is unsuitable for children under 16 years of age. Viewer discretion is advised.
Alright, thanks, Doc.
Hey,
wow.
Hey, what's going on, man? You gave us quite a scare there.
Yeah, wasn't really a heart attack, but it sort of was. That's pretty much the shortest way.
So I got a new thing I want you to know. Have you downloaded the Bottom of the Map app?
Dude, we don't have an app. I think we're working on it, but we don't have an app.
Really? Because B told me that motherfucker. All right.
He's been filling your lies full of heads.
Here we go. Have you listened to the Bottom of the Map podcast yet?
Dude, I work here.
Have you listened to the WWE Bottom of the Map podcast?
Hey, stop right now, because I can see what you're doing. You are not going to go there. Don't.
I will find you, and I will make you listen to the podcast.
You are not Michael Cole.
Damn it. Alright, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen?
Why would you want to be Michael Cole?
Yeah, he's hated as a babyface and hated as a heel. He just can't win. Alright, I'm Fish Food.
I cheer for him as a babyface. I'm done.
And this is Bottom of the Mat. We're going to do our WWE podcast for you this week.
For those of you who are wondering what the whole sketch was about at the beginning of the show, I did have a little bit of a stint in the hospital. I'm getting better. So, for those of you who are worried about me, thank you.
It's kind of fucking ironic. We call him Doc, and he's in the hospital more than all four of us combined.
You want to know what's also ironic? The two of us. The two of us are, because that's all that we have for this episode.
Yeah, it's just us two. No big black bastard and no Rubicon.
Yeah, but.
By the way, that joke is endorsed by the big black bastard himself.
Yes, we have talked to our black consulate. He has approved this. But nigga, please. But no, the two of us, we've both served in the military. You're still serving.
Mm-hmm.
I served in the military. The actual name of what I had is pleurisy, where the lining of my lungs swelled up and ended up choking my heart out, making it tap like a little bitch. I found out that I had it on July 4th.
Oh.
Francis Scott Key, the man who wrote our national anthem, died of pleurisy.
No fucking way.
Tad Lincoln, the son of the 16th President Abraham Lincoln, died of pleurisy.
Fortunately, hopefully it's not something you can die from now, right?
Usually not.
Okay,
Benjamin motherfucking Franklin died of pleurisy.
So if you're gonna go, get pleurisy. It's the most American motherfucking way to go.
Yeah.
Other than strapping a rocket to your chest and saying, 4th of July, motherfuckers.
And I'm less proud of this, but King James from down there in Miami, he's had it before. LeBron.
Really?
Yeah. He had it when he was in Cleveland.
I see. That's probably why he got the fuck out of there.
Let's see.
Oh, the jokes keep going.
I know. Mahatma Gandhi, during World War I, had pleurisy. So,
nice.
So I'm in good company. I'm in good company, but...
Well, speaking of injuries, we're going to do our flash topics, and the first one is really appropriate because, sad day of the WWE community, no more wrestling for Santino, if the report is true.
If the report's true. I'm really hoping it's not.
I think he'll still stay on as like a comedic role, but because apparently he's injured his neck a few times, and this one really scared him, this last one.
Yeah.
I don't know when it happened. Might have happened in a house show or something. But apparently at a recent house show, he announced that he is retiring because of neck injuries.
Yeah, it's
so,
pretty...
I hope we still see him in like a backstage role, because his comic relief is absolutely hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the commercial on last week's Raw. He was like, why did nobody come to our party? Even Emma didn't show up, and we'll explain that in a minute. Mm-hmm. And then, the Adam Rose thing, which apparently, the creator's still not behind him. But, neck injuries are a very scary thing. Look at Edge. He had to retire, even though he didn't want to. They made him retire because he was too stubborn. They don't want him to die. They don't want him to, and I'm not saying this in a joking manner. They don't want him to pull an Owen Hart.
Yeah,
that would be devastating. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Especially not a guy like Edge or even Santino. Those guys, well, not so much Santino, as I was going to say a legend in the industry. Santino will probably end up in the Hall of Fame eventually.
Yeah. He's not quite
He's not going to be
He
one
never
of those
broke
ones.
through to the top tier, but
He was in an Elimination Chamber match and a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Money in the Bank match several years back. So he's got the talent.
he won the Intercontinental Championship his first night, on television.
Another little quick thing. He's not actually from Italy.
No,
he was born in Canada.
He is Canadian, as is his wife and his daughter.
Yeah. So, okay, we gave a little bit of a little suspense side plot about Emma not being at the party. Well, why was she not at the party? Because she was shoplifting from Walmart.
She was in jail.
She was in jail.
Shoplifting.
Right.
It's the self-checkout things, which, let's be honest, I've accidentally walked down.
Yeah, according to the report that we keep seeing, it's the same story every time. So it doesn't have to be true. It has been confirmed by...
that was the story that was told in court.
Right. Okay, well, the official story, she went to go buy a bunch of other stuff, forgot to scan her iPod or iPad case.
It was like a $24 iPad case.
And the thing went off, and they immediately arrested her, didn't try to...
No. They didn't arrest her there at Walmart. They waited until she was backstage at Raw and arrested her at the event.
So they didn't even try to stop her at the gate thing?
Apparently.
Well, that's...
but she was arrested at Raw.
Wow.
That's why WWE got so pissed off. They were like, what the hell is happening? Oh, she's been accused of stealing from Walmart?
6th degree larceny.
6th degree larceny, which is right... That crime, by the way, is like right underneath, not picking up your dog turd when you're walking your dog. That's
pretty pathetic.
That's like really a slap on the wrist.
So what does WWE do when they find out she's been accused?
They publicly fire her.
You're fired. And then the court happens. The court hearing happens. The trial. And we're calling. They give her community service.
Yeah.
You said
community service. 24 hours of... Not even 24 hours. Just community service.
24 hours community service you can knock out in like a week. Dude, 8 days the first day, take a day off. 8 days the next day, 8 days the day after. Boom. Yeah. 4 days and you're done. Or you can even do it in 3 days if you're feeling like a boss. But,
pull a double one day and you got it done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's just...
Go pick up trash for 8 hours. You'll really feel bad about yourself.
You will be humiliated from all the cars honking at you on the side of the lot. I wouldn't know about
this. But I am glad that WWE decided to, not completely just keep her fired, because she did make history by being the first Australian-born diva in the WWE.
Yeah, well, and they went ahead, they rehired her. My only problem with the WWE when it comes to this is they hadn't even finished arresting her. WWE.com goes out and says, "You're fired." And they find out what for, and they were like, "You may have spoke too soon."
Okay,
if you're gonna open yourself up to having to say we spoke too soon, you might want to bite your tongue for just a little bit until you know the facts.
Another thing I have a problem with, she did steal, right? She broke the law. Think about this: Celebrity Hall of Famer who's a convicted rapist, Mike Tyson. He has been convicted of rape,
and he's still.
And he's a WWE Hall of Famer. So
there's so many.
If there's a line, she is way the fuck on the left side of it, nowhere near the danger zone.
Before Randy Orton became a WWE superstar,
he was a Marine.
He was a Marine who deserted,
and that's punishable by like a year in prison, I think, depending on the severity. Deserting in combat is actually punishable by death.
Yeah, he wasn't in combat. We weren't in any major conflict.
So soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, whatever you are, don't abandon your battle buddies unless you want to die.
Yeah, but no, we're sitting. He went fucking AWOL. You know the tight relationship the WWE has with the military, and he's still one of their top guys, and he went AWOL. Well, you're gonna fire Emma over some bullshit?
I did watch his documentary, though. He says if I could take it back, I would have either never enlisted or I would have stayed. Because, I regret it, and I will the rest of my life. So you gotta give him some credit there. But, I mean, still, he's committed crimes. mean, shit, Hogan has a sex tape that's public. That violates their policy. He still hosts WrestleMania 30.
Yep.
By the way, I only know that via reports I've seen. I've never actually watched the video, and I never plan to. Speaking of Hulk Hogan, quick shameless plug. I was on the internet just, doing my thing, and I was, I've been into speedrunning lately, and I was thinking about picking up Paper Mario, learning how to run it. Apparently, in the second Paper Mario, there's a series where you have to wrestle, or fight. It's basically a wrestling gimmick. The champion's name is Rock Hawk. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, in the German version, his name is Hawk Hogan. And he's like the big champion. I thought that was kind of a cool shameless plug. So that's shameless plug of the day number 1. While we're on shameless plugs, you want to give any real quick?
No, I can't think of any right now. Actually, yes. Shameless plug goes out to our beloved Share Medical Center here in Alva, Oklahoma.
Alva, America.
Share Medical Center, where you can go if you are experiencing all the signs and symptoms of a heart attack. And they will look at you and say, it's probably not a heart attack. And they will not only do that, but they will give you a gastrointestinal cocktail. Because
are those things like expensive?
No. Gastrointestinal cocktail, not all that.
I know there's a shake. Oh no, it's the MRI shake. The shake you have to take before MRI. They're like $1,000 a piece.
Yeah, but no, they give you a gastrointestinal cocktail, which has lidocaine and acetaminophen and Donitol, and basically it numbs everything up. Because a lot of heart attack patients come in, they say it feels like a really, really severe case of heartburn. Mm-hmm. So they give you a GI cocktail, and the lidocaine in it numbs everything up. And that's what they give you before they take your tooth out. That's what they inject directly into. That's just
amazing.
The same stuff.
Shit.
And it numbs everything up. So Share Medical Center says, "Oh, well, your symptoms are gone. Therefore, we had it right. High five."
Just covered them up, probably.
Except you've just given me something that numbs everything up. So if I am still experiencing symptoms, you just sort of fucked me over. Share Medical Center, everybody.
Okay, I'm gonna go do another shameless plug. My girlfriend, she got a new phone, and she was watching. She has this app where she can watch movies, and she was gonna watch A Bug's Life. And it's like, I'll just put it on my computer. There's a website you can go. I'm not gonna name it because I don't want any copyright lawsuits. You just basically stream it. I'm not downloading anything illegally. Don't worry. And we watched A Bug's Life. Best characters in that movie: the 2 fucking pill bugs, Tuck and Roll. Mm-hmm. My favorite line: "You fire! You fire!" It was like not quite Vince McMahon, but close enough. All right, back to our Flash topics. Apparently, a poster was leaked a couple weeks ago, spoiling the main event for SummerSlam.
I'm surprised you didn't know about this last time we were.
I saw it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't say anything because we haven't had a podcast in like 2 weeks. So, Brock Lesnar apparently is scheduled to return the Monday night after Battleground to declare that he is the rightful number 1 contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, that shouldn't be a surprise. The bad thing is, the guy who he's supposed to be fighting against. On the poster, John Cena was opposite him. Which means, Roman Reigns fans, Orton fans, Kane fans if you still exist, John Cena's walking away from Battleground as the champion. Hands down, it's happening. So there's your spoiler alert.
But here's a further spoiler alert. 9 out of 10 experts agree Brock Lesnar's walking away from SummerSlam as the champion.
Right? And see, that's another thing I think is odd too, because, he is a part-time performer. In their policy, they will not give a title to somebody who will not work house shows and somebody who only shows up on Raw every so often.
As you mentioned, though,
The Rock has done it.
As you mentioned, in their policy, people with public sex tapes are not allowed to
Welcome to the WWE. I'm Vince McMahon. Here we will give you a bunch of regulations that we will not enforce. Thank you very much.
Unless your name's Drew McIntyre. You're the fucking enforce that shit.
You're the chosen one. You're fired.
Jinder Mahal. Oh, you slightly darker than we are, but not quite as dark as Mark Henry. Yeah, you gone.
So, expect Brock Lesnar to most likely be the champion after SummerSlam. And the reason they're doing that is because Night of Champions is the pay-per-view. Well, SummerSlam is the pay-per-view where all WWE Network subscriptions will expire. So they want everybody to re-up.
Or not all of them. Well, because those of us that have
the initial ones.
Yeah.
Like if you're like the two of us that bought it the day it came out, it expires right after SummerSlam, like a couple days after. So they want people.
I piggybacked off my buddy. Double B.
See, they want people to, re-up. They want people to buy the network again.
You crazy.
And so, as a result of that, they're also pushing back another match that should have happened at SummerSlam to Night of Champions, which I think I like a little bit. It adds more suspense, it adds more build. Roman Reigns and Triple H probably won't happen until Night of Champions. They're thinking that Orton versus Roman Reigns, which is still a high-quality match, should happen at SummerSlam.
Well, and it gives him more time as a top-tier singles superstar.
It gives him more time to prove himself as a singles competitor, and gives him more time to get the crowd even more behind him, which they're already pretty solid behind him.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. There's one guy who is going to replace John Cena as the face of the company. It's not going to be Daniel Bryan. I'm sorry. I like Daniel Bryan. I'm very much a fan of Daniel Bryan. He's not going to be the next John Cena. That's Roman Reigns' place.
Something I think is funny, they're already starting to build his credibility, almost, I guess you could say. At Money in the Bank, his entrance was the last one to go up. Normally, that's John Cena's spot.
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw afterwards, it was a tag team match between Orton and Kane and John Cena. Cena was not the last one to come out. It was Roman Reigns. They're already building, like, this is our guy. WWE is 100% behind him. He's got the pedigree. He's got the ring work. His mic skills could use a little bit of work, but it's still fairly solid.
And let's be honest, if he needs help, Renee Young's willing to help him out with that.
All he's got to do is ask his cousin, hey, I want to smell what The Rock is cooking. Help me out in the mic. That's all he's got to do.
Or his other cousins, who he used to beat up on a nightly basis.
Jimmy and Jay?
Yeah. Or their dad, who he tried to beat up one time.
Right. Well, okay, but like I'm saying, the network is tanking, so they're going to do everything they can to get it, where they want it to be.
Otherwise, those of us who have bought into it,
I'm already sold. Because I'm sold on the network because you get stuff like Legends House. You can't get that anywhere else unless you do it illegally. I like Legends House. It showed so many aspects of those people. I'm not going to say characters. People. You got to see the real Roddy Piper. You got to see the real Pat Patterson, the real Howard Finkel, the real Gene Okerlund. Holy balls!
Most of us weren't all that impressed with Howard Finkel. Let's just go ahead and say that.
Howard Finkel, I did like his success story. He was bullied as a kid, and he made it to the top.
Yeah.
Everybody wrong.
But
that was cool.
But then again, he's still kind of a bitch.
Oh, yeah. He lets people push him around. The guy that I got most, I don't want to say attached to. That sounds kind of gay. The guy I was.
Hey, watch it, easy. Don't scare him back into it.
I wasn't talking about Pat.
Oh.
He was like a really close second. Roddy Piper, he showed that he wasn't really. He was a badass, but he wasn't all like hyped and the whole time. He was like, I want to kind of be by myself a little bit. That first night on Legends House, he went outside and he looked at the moon and he was, he's like, I can't take much more of this. It just showed true aspects of his character. I like his persona, and I liked it.
That being said, still reality television. 90% of the scenes set up by a producer, but
I actually heard that a lot of it, they just let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's what makes a true reality show, successful.
But
Total Divas is a decent reality show, but you can tell some of it's all scripted.
But there's another thing that you've got to realize. These guys are all consummate professionals in the business. which means you can just give them, hey, vague outline, this is sort of what we want to happen. We're just going to let you run with it.
The best episode, though, was the roast. Did you see the roast?
I did.
The roast was hilarious. Tony Atlas had the best joke in the night. He's like, we were doing a show one time, and he had me in a headlock. He's like, damn, Tony, I heard of squeezing a blackhead, but this is fucking ridiculous. You know? I laughed so hard listening to that.
My favorites that I followed on the show had to be the first ever Royal Rumble winner, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Ho!
And it was Hillbilly Jim.
What?
Not Hillbilly Jim. Big John Studd was on there? Yeah.
No, he wasn't. It was Hillbilly Jim.
Hillbilly Jim. I said it the first time.
Yeah.
And then you said what and made me... I was like, oh shit. No, that was who it was.
No, I thought you were saying that Hillbilly Jim actually won the first Royal Rumble.
No. Hillbilly Jim. No, Hillbilly Jim was on the show. Mm-hmm. He was my favorite.
Yeah.
He's...
Him and Tony clicked because they're both Southerners and they both like chitlins. Nobody else in that fucking house wanted the chitlins. If you haven't watched it, we're not gonna publicly say you should buy the network, but you should buy the network because it's a great show. It's a lot of laughs, a lot of heartfelt moments. You learn so much about those guys. It adds a little bit of a respect for what those people do.
Oh, absolutely. Something that I'm gonna plug now.
Shameless plug number 2.
Yeah, it's sort of a flash topic. It's not really a plug.
Okay, I retract that.
It's there's something you don't have to buy to access WWE.com. They recently did a article talking about who the wrestlers' favorite wrestlers to wrestle are, who your favorite opponent is. So I'm just going to go through their top 10. They asked Daniel Bryan who his favorite opponent is. Surprisingly enough, for me, at least, was Sheamus. He said every time they go into a match, they always have great matches, which is why it was so disappointing at WrestleMania 28 that they cut their time so short, and they were like, you know what, just kick him in the face.
And see, that makes no sense to me because it was your first match. How do you get cut time? Unless it's just like we got so much else here, nobody really cares about this match. Bullshit. Everyone cared about that match.
We had a match. That's for a major championship. We had a match later on in the night.
He was the Royal Rumble winner, for God's sakes. He deserves better than that.
We had a match later on in the night that had Maria Menounos in it. Come on. That's the Royal Rumble winner match. That's the World Heavyweight Championship.
And didn't you used to get the main event at WrestleMania when you won the Rumble? The first match is not a main event.
Yes, but
it's a good kicker.
But that was the first year that you saw the WWE Championship wasn't the main event. That wasn't the last match on the card.
Well, yes, but that was that
last match on the card
was Hell in a Cell.
No,
was it not?
It was Cena versus Rock, which pissed everybody off.
Yeah, you're right.
Everybody who wasn't Cena or Rock was pissed off.
That main event match should have gone to the Hell in a Cell between Triple H and The Undertaker with Shawn Michaels.
The end of an era would have been the only one that I would have possibly said, okay, yes, put that after the world title matches. But no. And you put one of them at the top of the show and ended it in 18 seconds. It was shit. But he says, he said, I loved our 2 out of 3 Falls match at Extreme Rules 2012, but we main evented every night on the European tour after WrestleMania 28. Kane and Randy Orton were doing no disqualification matches on those same shows. And there are guys who people considered main eventers way more than me and Sheamus at that time. I remember somebody came up to me and said, I saw your match against Sheamus last night, and I've never seen 2 men hit each other that hard. He was seeing no disqualification matches between Randy Orton and Kane, and then he saw Daniel Bryan and Sheamus and said, holy crap. So, Sheamus is Daniel Bryan's favorite competitor. Bad News Barrett's favorite opponent? he names two: Kofi Kingston and Sheamus. So Sheamus is getting a hell of a plug here. He says Kofi Kingston because of just the great. He says they're complete opposites. He says, but that leads to a lot of counterattacks, reversals, and technical stuff, which I really enjoy. Every time I'm up against him, he says, I know it's going to be a good match, going to be exciting, and we're going to have to do some innovative stuff. He said the other one would be Sheamus, completely different animal, but every time I get in the ring with him, I know it's going to be a fight.
Oh,
You think of their two styles. They're mirror images. They're both hard knockers. The last sentence in this part of the article says, it's more of a chess game with Kofi, where with Sheamus it's a heavyweight boxing match.
Pretty much.
Sheamus's favorite opponent, he returns the favor for one of them, Bad News Barrett. He says there's a big England-Ireland thing, and the people can see that and they can feel it. He says there's a lot of pride at stake in these matches, whether it's part of a rivalry or not, which those two he mentions, they've never been in a proper rivalry. He says there's always a matter of pride, though, between who wins and loses. They're both hard-hitting superstars and have pretty similar styles. They love beating the crap out of each other, and so every match that they have might as well be for a championship because they're going to beat the crap out of each other either way. Kofi Kingston's favorite opponent, Dolph Ziggler. And again, you can see those two, they grew up, in the industry together, sort of. They came into the WWE about the same time. They got sort of stuck at the mid-card level about the same time, and were fighting to break through about the same time. And so they had he says, there was a point from 2010 to the middle of 2011 where we wrestled each other every single week. We were both guys who were still close to breaking into that next level, so everything we did was trying to outdo the other guy, which provides for a great match for everybody watching, but also helps us get to the next level. It's like this creative competition. There's so much going on that people don't even know about. So, and Dolph always made Kofi step it up and give 110%.
Well, I mean, look at what they did on Money in the Bank. That zigzag to the back of the ladder.
Oh, and those guys, all of them behind the scenes, they all have such great respect for each other. Mm-hmm. But you don't work with someone unless you respect them. But the only possible exception for this may be the next one. Talks about Dolph Ziggler's favorite opponent is Alberto Del Rio.
I believe it.
Says Alberto Del Rio made it very clear one night when he told someone, Dolph and I are not friends. We don't hang out. We don't talk. It wasn't in a mean way, but he said when we're in the ring, there's such good chemistry. When he gets vicious, I get more vicious. We complement each other well. This was still Del Rio talking about Ziggler. They don't hang out. They're not best pals or anything. But when they get into the ring, he says there's no chemistry backstage, but out there, it's unstoppable.
They've had some great matches between the two of them, especially over the last year.
Well, Jack Swagger's favorite opponent is Alberto Del Rio. So WWE.com's performed the interview with him, and Swagger says, I really liked wrestling Alberto Del Rio. And at that point, Del Rio walks by, and Jack just follows him and says, that's so crazy. I miss you, buddy. Or it's Jack Swagger, so I miss you, buddy. Don't hurt me. He says, no.
Alva, Oklahoma.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying, Jack. I know you live in Perry, so...
It's like, you can plug it into your GPS. He says, I come from a wrestling background. He comes from MMA, and our styles definitely complement each other. If you don't have backgrounds in something similar to that, it can be tough to wrestle a guy like Jack Swagger, as Bad News Barrett can now attest to.
6 months, he's out, most likely.
If you try to do amateur wrestling with a sports entertainer, he's not going to know how to click with him. Mm-hmm. But Del Rio, he says, and I know they complement each other. Our styles go hand in hand, and that makes the chemistry that much better. Seth Rollins' favorite opponent? Daniel Bryan.
I believe that one too.
But that goes all the way back to when they were doing Ring of Honor.
Right, yeah.
And they had some of the best shows ever. He says my favorite one was in Detroit at a show called New Horizons, where I powerbombed him into the turnbuckle, and the top turnbuckle broke.
Oh, shit.
He said it was really crazy. It was one of those moments that no one saw coming, and you can't recreate it. It was terrifying, but if you were there live, you literally never forget it. RVD's favorite opponents? Sabu and Jerry Lynn. I don't feel like I have to talk any more about that.
No, I think it goes without saying.
It's Sabu.
Right, yeah.
Goldust. This one I found really interesting. Goldust's favorite opponent. Randy Orton.
Yeah, I can see that. They have very similar styles.
Says my favorite opponent is probably Randy Orton. You can have a bad opponent out there and still get the job done. You just have to work around certain things. Randy and I don't have that. It clicks. I definitely feel it when I'm out there with them, and you know it. You always know who's really good and who's not really good. I would consider Orton and myself the two smoothest performers here in the company. I know my stuff after 26 years in the business come August. I've seen a lot of people come and go. If I'm studying in NXT and trying to make it to the main roster, I would be watching Randy Orton. Study him. And, of course, the poster boy, John Cena. His favorite opponent is Dwayne Johnson.
That makes sense because, he has respect for a lot of people, but he doesn't really respect The Rock a whole lot, which I think is what made their matches work to a sense.
He doesn't respect him. He respects him as a performer. He respects him in the ring. He doesn't respect the whole, I love the WWE and now I'm going to leave it for 7 years. Which, I'm there with him.
Mm-hmm. So is that all your list?
Yep, that was their top 10.
Alright, so we're at about the 32 and a half minute mark, so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to give you our plugs, and we'll be right back. This is Fish Food.
And this is Doc.
And it's time for the plugs. First things first, we have a website, bottomofthemat.com, spelled with 2 T's. We've also got an email account, bottomofthemat, spelled with 2 T's at yahoo.com.
We've got another email account, bottomofthemat, spelled with 1 T at Gmail, because I can spell. And we've got a Google Voice account, which is 580-609-0399. You can text us, send us phone calls, anything you want to. If you're into that, I don't know why you would be.
We also got a Twitch channel if you want to see me live stream games. I do a lot of speedruns. Go to twitch.tv/bottomofthemat. Also, we've got a YouTube channel. Look us up at Bottom of the Mat. I think that's all we've got.
Yeah. All right. Back to the show.
See you guys in a minute.
All right.
So we're back. And, now we're going to kick off the rest of the show with our power rankings. Now, we're doing things differently this week. From this point on, it's going to be different. I'm not going to do the traditional Power 25, rank the top 25 superstars, because there's a lot that are in action, and then there's some that, get up there, and then they stop working, Big Show.
Yeah. So, and you don't know what to do with them. Do you drop them off completely? Well, yeah, but they were still up there last week, so it's hard to say that they lost that much momentum.
So what we're going to do, we're going to go the top 10 and the not top 10 for the week. And this week, I did not include their pay-per-view performance in the week, simply because I wanted to start fresh. So
we're starting immediately following this last pay-per-view.
Yes. So they get so many points for wins, losses. They get so many points for brawls, promos, whatever. It's mostly up to my discretion. I do have set standards. There are some things that are in there. It's he deserves points for that, so I just add them in there. So we're going to start with the not top 10 because we're going to save the best part for last. So starting with not top 10 member number 10, Fandango.
So we're counting down number 1 will actually be the worst.
Yes,
one,
he's
the lowest.
Yes, so number 10, Fandango.
Ladies love him.
Ladies love him, but they can't get enough of him, which is causing problems for Fandango.
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler got Summer Rae, kinda.
Yeah, I'm liking that.
Basically, he was only in action once, which is why he's not farther up or down on this list. Like, if he probably would have had a couple more matches, he may not have made either list.
Yeah, he may have been in that mid-card where you just sort of tend to get forgotten. Sort of like in the real WWE.
Well, let's say if he had another match and lost, he probably would have made, like, number 5 or number 6 or so. He got negative 5 points for the week because he lost one match. He lost the match because Summer Rae came out. It looked like at first to kind of beg for Fandango back. Turns around and kisses Dolph Ziggler.
Which Ziggler's like, hey, might as well happen.
And then,
this is the most interesting thing that happened to my character.
Fandango turns her around, and Ziggler grabs her back and just makes her out with her again.
And she looked like she was enjoying it the second time. The second time was definitely not just, hey, I'm trying to get your attention. You're not paying attention. I'm gonna kiss you.
So that also adds another list of women that Dolph Ziggler has kissed on the show.
Yep.
Vicky Guerrero, AJ Lee, Summer Rae. so that ended up getting Ziggler the win and Fandango the loss.
Mm-hmm.
R-Truth and Xavier Woods, number 9. I believe
they're still even here.
I'm pretty sure they lost to Harper and Rowan on main event opening match.
Yeah.
They're there as jobbers, which R-Truth deserves more than that. Xavier Woods, I'm indifferent about him. I mean, he's not really that great of a character. He is, but he's got a lot going for him as a person. He's getting his PhD in psychology.
Yeah, he doesn't need this.
He really doesn't.
Which, I'm not saying you should base how you write the stories based on, well, I need the money more, but seriously, he doesn't need it. He's decent at it in-ring, but not great. I can understand him being.
Number 8, one of the Los Matadors, the one that's not injured. And I loved how...
Diego? Yeah,
I loved how Michael Cole just announced that Fernando was injured. He's like, well, the reason that Fernando's not here is because he's injured. Way to go, Michael Cole.
You always know so much about everything that's going on backstage.
You have your sources, and I guess they let you down today.
Yeah, you always know everything about what's going on backstage. What did your sources say about, Fernando being injured? Did they tell you anything other than, like...
He got injured during a house show.
I feel like I'm watching, or like, listening to Michael Cole doing that felt like I was reading the New York Post. Which New York Post is great, because that feels like you're just grabbing some random person off the street and being like, what happened today? There's a problem in Queens!
Right? So, he lost to Bo Dallas, which, not really surprising. Bo Dallas is getting a decent push. So, he lost. Eva Marie, who we haven't seen on TV in a while, but she comes on to SmackDown to job to AJ Lee, the new Divas Champion.
Yeah.
Really? That's the best you could come up with, creative? I mean, yeah, I know she's not the greatest worker, but you've already tanked with her. Don't throw her further down into the abyss by constantly losing pointless matches.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need you to prove that AJ Lee is dominant. She was champion for 295 days. We know she's dominant.
We don't need you to prove that she's dominant over Eva Marie. If you want to prove she's dominant, have her be dominant.
Over Tamina or something, which she's injured right now. But
don't
get somebody big.
Make her dominate Eva Marie, because why would you continue to Ryback this poor girl?
That's basically like asking... I can't even think of a really good one. I was going to say something in the sports world, but I can't really think of anything good. Okay, the Cleveland Browns. That's like having the Patriots whoop on the Cleveland Browns. The Browns ain't that great. We already know the Patriots are really good. No offense to either of those teams. I'm not a fan of either one. That's why I say that.
Like the Browns.
I don't like the Browns because I'm a Steelers fan. I don't like the Patriots either, but I know that they are a really good franchise. Moving on, Paige. Yes, she's a very good competitor, but not this week. She lost her Divas Championship, which means she lost 9 points because it was a title match. Not really the greatest way you want to start out.
She's sitting there. Yeah, it's not the best way to start out this whole points ranking thing, but she's still one of the most over characters in the WWE.
She is. Because she proved that she belongs in the WWE.
She's
by defending her championship three months in a row.
Yeah, well, and you can see, they mentioned on Bleacher Report, you could see wheels turning in her head when she was walking, when she was watching Eva Marie get it handed to her. Mm-hmm. And then she walked into the ring and offered her hand to AJ. Can't remember. Did AJ take that handshake?
I don't remember either. But I did think it was funny. I did read a report that it was a leaked report I read after I watched Raw, that the plan was for AJ to come back and do a face turn against Paige. Mm-hmm. Does that mean Paige is going to be a heel? If so, I'm going to like it because I think she could pull off a heel. Because she's got the attitude for it.
She does.
But at the same time...
So does AJ Lee.
Exactly.
The reason AJ Lee came in, regardless of anything else, as a face, is because she still carries with her that whole CM Punk.
In fact, as soon as she got into the ring, when the music died down, CM Punk chants echoed through the arena.
Yeah. But she carries with her that CM Punk air of nostalgia.
And that wedding ring.
Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, I'm glad I wasn't the only one who took notice of that.
I did. It was awesome. All right, hold on. I got to recount. I think that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was. Okay, so number 4. Alberto Del Rio.
Poor Del Rio.
The only thing he did all week was that title match against Sheamus on the 4th of July. Mm-hmm. Really solid match.
Oh, it's always a great match between those two.
And of course, you're not going to have... I mean, I did think it was funny. It was the 4th of July. It was the United States Championship. And both men are not originally from this country. Del Rio's from Mexico. Sheamus is from Ireland. I did think it was kind of ironic. Great match regardless of all that. But Del Rio, he makes the now top 10 for the week. I'm sorry, Del Rio.
Yeah, well, and if they don't do anything with these characters next week, their 1 week mishap shouldn't reflect next week's.
Well,
not top 10.
Well, the not top 10 is going to be like if they're not in action, they won't make either list.
Okay.
For example, Bad News Barrett, Layla, Titus O'Neil, and Sin Cara. They were in action the week before. They weren't in action this week. They didn't make the list at all.
We might do Power 25 like once a month at that point. Then see who the top 25 superstars for the entire month have been.
Well, we'll do a not top 10 for the month.
And every week that you're inactive, it's you like -2. -2, unless you've got like a legitimate injury.
Well, I have on my spreadsheet points this week, points last week, points 2 weeks ago. So at the end of the week before each pay-per-view, we'll do a top 10 for the month, not top 10, as well as the top 10 for the week and all and so on and so forth. So number 3, I guess number 4. Well, I guess okay. So that was number 5. I apologize. Number 4, Cesaro. Unfortunately for Cesaro, he got a little bit of an eye injury. You know, he had to wear an eye patch for less than 12 hours. But he wore it on the main event and then didn't wear it on SmackDown. So his injury wasn't obviously that bad because it was the same night when they recorded both of them.
Yeah, well, it wasn't less than 12 hours. It was a little bit less than 24.
Oh, yeah.
But
well, I think they started making him wear it in the morning. So, but they made him wear it on main event so he could sell the injury a little bit. But he lost to Kofi Kingston. No, not just lost. During the fucking commercial break. I have never seen that in the WWE recently.
I think that the reason that happened was actually because he was caught off guard by the injury to his eye.
Could be. I don't know if that was scripted or not, but he did make use of his segment because I'm pretty sure he knew it was on commercial. He was like, you know what, this isn't over. I'm a heel. I'll just beat the shit out of Kofi Kingston.
Whether he knew it was still on his segment or not, the people backstage did, and that means that the guy in the striped shirt does. So the ref tells him, dude, why'd you just pin him? We're in commercial. I can't see, man. Fine, fuck it.
Either way, that's all.
3.
I didn't give him any points for that brawl because, you know...
Oh, he should have got points for that brawl.
He lost during the commercial.
How dominant he was?
Yes, but he also lost during the commercial. And, well, no, he got the points, you know, because he's only at 10. He lost the brawl on SmackDown, so that counteracted. So that maybe I did count it. Either way, he still has negative 10 points because he also lost on SmackDown and got his ass handed to him, and he walked away from the arena.
Yeah.
So
that was a hell of a match.
Number 3, Ryback.
Mm-hmm.
They lost on main event, I believe, and they lost some other time. Let me look at my log real quick. Let's see.
And who did they keep losing to?
Stardust. Oh yeah, they lost on Monday to Stardust and Goldust, didn't they? Yeah, the Dust Busters, as we like to call them here on bottom of the mat. Yeah, so they lost the main event on main event, and he lost on Raw to Ryback. Fucking Goldust Stardust, you know what I mean. And he's doing his Goldust impression, which I wish you could see.
Stardust.
Number 2, one half of the Bella Twins. Biggie Bella. She just can't win. She gets put into a handicap match on Raw and loses, of course. And then they put her in a tag match on...
Well, you know why she lost, right? Because she didn't believe hard enough.
She didn't believe, no. She lost, I can't remember if it was SmackDown or main event, but she got put into a tag match with Alicia Fox against the Funkadactyls, and Alicia Fox turns on it. So, yeah, she's not doing so great. At all.
And she's being used as fodder for a rivalry that's being slowly set up that nobody cares about. There's like 3 people in the world that care about it, and 2 of them are the Funkadactyls themselves.
Oh, you're talking about that?
That rivalry is...
I thought you were talking about the setup. I thought you were talking about the setup between possibly Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon.
Oh.
If she decides that she wants to come back to the business, because she's not officially fired, she's still technically with the company.
She's still under the contract. She left either one so she could take care of her husband, or 2 because she's wanting to be a mom.
I don't know.
But eventually she will be back. Our women's division is getting strapped. We just hired Oksana.
Emma, if she's on TV tonight, I'll be surprised.
No. I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised because WWE, by making it a big deal, it could have just flown under.
Emma stole my iPod.
And everyone would have been like, TMZ is reporting about this, but WWE is rising above it. So it could have been just one of those things where you're like, hey, you know what? It happens. TMZ's probably blowing everything out of proportion. So that's what's happening in court. You can look in the... but instead of standing behind their superstar or their diva, they went ahead, they fired her publicly, and then publicly took it back. So they've made it a big deal. She's going to be on Raw tonight.
All right, we'll have to look into that. Number 1 of the not top 10 for the week. The intellectual changer of appearance for the masses. First he comes out as Mr. McMahon. We're talking about Damian Sandow, in case you can't figure that out. He comes out on Raw dressed up as Mr. McMahon, calls himself Mr. McMahondow, which I thought was hilarious.
His Mr. McMahon was actually
pretty good, yeah. Well, McMahon's music hits and like, I wasn't expecting to see McMahon right now. Awesome. He starts walking, I'm like, that's not McMahon. That's Sandow. Awesome. And then, who do you think you are? Personally, my father. bitch, please. I'm pretty sure your husband did the same shit like 3, 4, 5 years ago, and you were okay with it. So what the fuck? Everyone loved it. Well, he gets his ass beat by
he's
Khali.
Not currently stuffing McMahon's daughter.
Right. Well, he got beat in like one move by Khali, so I made him lose 1 extra point because that was, that's embarrassing. That's kind of bad for a character.
To be fair, you take that move from Khali.
True, but that match could have lasted at least a few seconds longer.
I know, the man's a former Mr. Money in the Bank winner. Let's let him at least showcase some skill.
Well, then, on SmackDown, I don't remember who he was dressing up as, for the life of me, but he fought Rusev and got his ass kicked. And then Swagger came out, became the hero, stared him down, blah, blah. So that's the not top 10 for this week.
You already sort of spoiled something for the big top 10.
Oh, we'll get there, yeah.
Woo!
Actually, he's actually number 9, so.
I'm really excited for number 9 here.
Alright, so we're gonna get there. I say number...
By the way, his moveset on 2K14, really, really accurate, and I love it.
Yeah. I almost said 11 because 2 of my people are in a stable, well, they're on a tag team and they're right together. So number 10, all you have to do is believe. Bo Dallas, he gets 1 win for the week, but he also showed a possible heel turn by throwing El Torito out of the ring, which I thought was kind of funny.
He got booed for that.
But he embraced it kind of good. I think he worked really good as a heel in NXT, so I think he can probably do that because the whole motivational thing.
Yeah, but people are still starting to buy into his character.
True.
Now he's showing faces or possible signs. Like, people are buying into his character now, starting
I think
as
he can
a
still
face.
make it work.
Now he's showing signs of a heel turn, and people haven't completely invested to where they'll, you can guarantee that he'll be over with the crowd.
Here's how I imagine.
If you have him as a tweener, that's just going to be odd.
Here's how I imagine Bo Dallas as a full-fledged heel. Instead of, you just have to believe, why don't you believe? That's why you lost, because you don't believe enough. Something like that. I think that'd be funny. Number 9, Big E.
What now?
12 and Bo, I think?
12 and Bo?
I think so. I think it was 12. It might be less than that. I don't really remember.
12 and Bo. I'm not going to lie. He's starting to grow on me.
Yeah. Number 9, Big E. 3 ain't enough, man. Need 5. I know
I need to slap the shit.
I'm pretty sure all of his points came from his one segment on SmackDown.
But
Big E versus Cesaro. Oh no, you see it too. The match never happened on SmackDown.
How many times do I need to slap Antonio Cesaro's eye back out of his head?
3 ain't enough.
I need 5.
Okay, so I guess he had another match that I forgot. It's up here somewhere. But Big E versus Cesaro was supposed to happen on SmackDown. It never happens. But Big E beat the shit out of him in the brawl, and he ended up retreating, which is why...
One thing I love that WWE did here, they told the audience why we should care about this match. Big E just gave a short little promo of, I'm doing this for my friend, Kofi Kingston. America.
His other points came from the event, so.
But he's doing some weird Reverend Jesse Jackson shit with his voice, and I don't like it. But at the same time,
I like it a little bit. I think it more reminds me of MLK, Martin Luther King. To me, that's just what I picture. I think it's kind of cool, considering he is a black athlete.
So is Reverend Jesse. But I'm also thinking of Don King to Only in America.
Right. All right. So now, before we get to number 8, I would like my audience to please rise and with a loud, clear voice, put your hand over your heart and say, "We the people." And I am proud to be an Oklahoman and an American because Jack Swagger has become a babyface and he is set to clash with Rusev, and I love it.
Rusev comes out on Monday night, and he's sitting there. Lana keeps Rusev is just sitting there looking powerful and beast as ever. And Lana keeps talking about how much she menstruates to thoughts of Vladimir Putin and how she hates the US.
The way you said that, it's appropriate, but
she has a poster of Putin that's been drawn to where it's just very discreetly.
Nobody looks at that poster. They always try to get a good look up at her skirt.
But she's got that poster. I'd get a look at Lana anytime. But she's got that poster just plastered to her ceiling above her bed.
Quick shameless plug. Number 4. I've been playing Skyrim a lot on my PC, and I've finally figured out how to mod it. Yeah, I'm behind. But there's this one. I have like 4 female followers, right? And I have their costume set up so where they're in combat they wear one thing, and when they're in town they wear just nothing because I don't have any clothes for them. So it's like, you know what? I'm gonna buy them some clothes. Downloaded a mod with sexy lingerie, right? I go into the shop. Guess what the fucking shopkeeper's name is? Lana. I laughed for like 20 minutes on that. I'm like, is that seriously her fucking name? It was hilarious. I had to undownload the mod because it was causing my game to lag a lot, but I still thought it was hilarious. So that's why shameless plug for. What?
Illegal mods causing your game
to lag.
I know.
Mods aren't illegal, actually.
I know.
In fact, Bethesda actually released a couple themselves.
But they're not really illegal, but they're not the best thing for the game. Because you're changing the programming within it.
True. Well, and if you're doing speedruns and stuff, mods are actually outlawed for those. But you're doing a casual playthrough. It makes the game so much bigger and funner. And it's already a huge game anyway. Like, there was a mod with a bottomless pit. It took me 2 hours to clear. And the reward wasn't even worth it because it didn't fucking work. It was a pair of boots that gives you no fall damage. And that's the only way to get... Well, that's one of the only ways to get out of the place. Because... You get to this one place and it teleports you to this big giant island in the sky that you can't, and you can see the bottom, and it's a giant ass fall. You put the boots on, you're supposed to be able to survive the fall. I tried it 7 times, died every time. I'm like, fuck this, fast travel. So some of the mods just make the game, they give you a new twist on things. You can change the character's appearance and everything. I know there's several mods that include nudity, and they want you to pay for a membership for that. I'm like, I don't need to see naked women that bad. I can just Google it. Alright, so back to number 8, Jack Swagger. He ended up beating Rusev in a brawl on Raw. And, that was, he got 5 points for that segment, 2 for a face turn, and 3 for the brawl. And then on SmackDown, after the match with Damien Sandow, he ended up, looking Rusev face to face, and Rusev backed down. That is why Rusev has 2 points for the week. He got 5 points for a win against, what's his face? Sandow. Yeah, I say what's his face because you can't remember what the guy looks like because he changes his appearance every day. And then he lost 3 for the brawl. So for the first time that I've ever seen him, he did not look strong for the week, which is kind of nice. Which means he's probably going to win a Battleground, which I'm okay with.
He ends up backing down, but still, this is the first time where he's actually looked, he looked strong against Big E. Mm-hmm. Jack Swagger, who, by the way, up until this week when he was standing face-to-face with Rusev, I had forgotten how big Jack Swagger actually was.
It's like 6'5".
Like I was watching him, and I was like, dude, he could totally hold his own against this guy. Where did he come from? Where did this guy come from?
Yeah, I'm extremely excited about all that.
You were just mentioning Skyrim, by the way. Skyrim. You were mentioning how big it is? Nowhere near as big as the island of Manhattan.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. It's still pretty big, but it takes a long time to get everywhere.
Westeros is only slightly larger than the island of Manhattan. And they've got how many kingdoms?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Alright, so number 7, Bray Wyatt. He attacked a certain other person on this list, and I literally wet myself because I was so excited because I cannot wait for that match to happen at Battleground because it's gonna happen.
Another shameless plug. Depends underwear.
Number 6. I forgot to pick up some. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Your bowl's just looking a little bit like lemonade.
I don't want to talk too much about Bray Wyatt because I don't want to spoil anything for our further down the list. Number 7.
If they don't know
6.
already.
Yeah. If you don't know already, watch the show.
Call somebody.
Watch WWE. Watch Raw.
You didn't know?
I just got what you were trying to do, and I tried to shut you down. I'm like, why did I do that? No!
You didn't know?
Call somebody! Alright. Thank you for that. Number 6, Dolph Ziggler. He won 2 matches this week, as far as I can remember. Let me look again.
Really now?
Yes, he won the main event on main events.
Main event on main event?
Yeah, it was.
That's just redundant.
And not only did he win, he got the pinfall in the 6-man tag match.
Awesome.
Yes, and he also the little segment with Fandango. So, I think I gave him a few points for the kiss as well. Maybe I just gave him the Summer. Yeah, 2 points for Summer for the kiss because she instigated the kiss. He just kissed back. So he doesn't get any points for that because that wasn't on him. But still, 10 points for him. That's pretty solid. Number 5, Cameron and Naomi, the Funkadactyls, which, because I really shouldn't have put them on this list, but the points don't lie.
The hits do, however.
They had 2 matches against Nikki Bella, and, she's just falling off the horse anyway. Number 4. If you don't listen to Fozzy, by the way, shameless plug, you should, because they are a great rock band.
And you're going to hear them tonight again.
And they are headlined by the Ayatollah of rock and rolla himself. You will never, ever, ever forget about that. Okay, that wasn't very great.
No, that wasn't.
I tried. But anyway, this is why he is that high list. He had no ring action at all, minus a couple brawls. Here's what happened.
WWE
decided
in their brilliance, and this time we're not being facetious when we say
absolutely
it.
not.
They decide we're going to have a return tonight of a
former WWE champion and cross-platform multimedia star. I was watching, and my dad was texting me. He's like, "Who's returning tonight?" He's like, "The only person I can think of is The Rock." He's the only multimedia star I know of, but I don't think he'd be coming back.
No, he wouldn't be coming back.
My dad was trying to tell me it was Sting's. Sting never started in movies as far as I remember.
He started in one
that's not
TNT made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, I don't think that counts.
That was while it was right after WCW folded, and Ted was like, "I've still got you on contract."
Yeah.
And Sting was like, "Yeah." He was like, "You want to earn some of that money?" Sting was like, "What you got for me, man?" He was like, "Made for TV movie," and he was like, "Fuck it, I'm bored at home anyway."
Speaking of wrestlers and movies, and I'm not going to talk about the Miz movie because I'm not really that excited about it. Rowdy Piper was in a movie a long time ago called They Live.
Mm-hmm.
It's about these alien-looking things, and you can only see him when he's wearing a special lens in his glasses or contacts.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie? Best part of that movie is the one-liner. He walks into a bank, I guess without realizing it. He's holding the gun. He says, "I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum. And I'm all out of bubblegum." So, quick shameless plug. Great movie. Check it out. It's called They Live.
It was
It's
one of those shitty sci-fi movies.
I like the plot.
That end up being awesome
Yeah.
just purely because they're shitty.
And because of Hot Rod.
But no, he's also been in countless. He was in a couple Walker Texas Ranger episodes.
Really?
Roddy Piper was.
Oh yeah.
No,
I thought you were talking about Sting.
No.
Okay, so the WWE, they're building this return,
and they're making a big deal out of it. You see
comes out of a
white stretch limo.
Comes out of a limo and everything. His entrance music hits. And my dad even listens to me text messages like, "Really? Who gives a fuck?"
His entrance music hits, and it says, "Ah!" Awesome!
The awesome!
and everyone in the audience, like, they were all chanting. They were all like, who's coming back? I don't know.
The crowd was kind of behind him. Like, he got a decent pop.
And, like he came in, and people were like,
So the Miz is talking, right?
what? He said multimedia star.
Right. So, well, he's been in 3 movies. I guess that counts as a star. Anyways, he's talking.
One of them was a freaking ABC Family Christmas movie.
I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, that does not count as a movie.
I watched the Marine 3 and I kind of liked it, but I feel like the Marine franchise should stop there.
Yeah.
But Summer Rae is going to be in 4, so I might check it out. She's a sniper bitch, and I'm excited a little bit.
Yeah,
so,
I wonder how. I wonder how Mrs. Girl Maurice feels about that.
Okay, real quick, shameless plug. And I'm gonna explain the plug first. So there's a part where you see her with the sniper rifle, right? And she's in a feud with Fandango. On Skyrim, I'm in mod, and there's this follower named Sophia, and she says a bunch of random ass shit. It's hilarious. One
really does.
One particular line of dialogue. She's a modded follower, so I don't know.
Yeah, I've watched videos.
Oh, have you? So she says this thing. Says, "I always miss my exes when I break up with them. I need to aim better with my bow." And I'm thinking, Summer Rae, you have a sniper now. Don't miss. Save us from Fandango. Make him get repackaged.
Speaking of save us, let's
resume. The Miz is doing his promo. Pyro goes off and the screen goes black. Break the Walls Down comes on, and we are back to the age of Raw is. Don't finish that sentence.
Yeah, because the lights are going to come back out again, and.
But still, it was really nice to see him, because normally I read the spoilers to see what might be happening. I didn't. I was in class, so I didn't get a chance to.
Quick spoiler alert for tonight. Mind if I do this?
Go ahead. I'm okay with that.
Guest host, Bret Hart.
Really?
They're in Montreal.
I believe it.
And Chris Jericho slated for a match against The Miz.
Nice. That'd be cool.
You know it's going to get interrupted, though.
Of course. But yeah, I usually read the spoilers. I didn't get a chance to because I was in class and it was our first day, and I did get off in class just in time to catch Raw live. I didn't have to watch it late, which is kind of nice. I won't get to it tonight because we're gonna be in class till 7:30 and Raw starts at 7. So
you're gonna watch it like 30 minutes behind?
No, I'm gonna watch it on TV/internet. So I don't want to jump in halfway through the show because I'll miss something. You got DVR? I might come over. I might bring Critter over too, because he was wanting to watch. So I might do that. So it'll work. Alright, so we'll do that. Alright, but yeah, Chris Jericho's back. He's immediately slated into a feud with Bray Wyatt. What do you think about that?
I'm happy for him, because now he's got something to hold his time better than he did for both of them. I'm happy for Jericho, because now he's got something to utilize his time here in the company better than he did last year. Mm-hmm. Last year, he just sort of flopped.
Well,
this year, he had one good match last year, and that was against CM Punk at Payback. And he didn't do anything else. He except lose.
Except where it was a really good match, though.
Yeah.
And I did find out that they were actually talking to Chris Jericho about possible return. He says, I'll only come back if there's a good reason.
Yeah, well, yeah, and
at that time, he thought, if you're going to put me in a program, I want to be in a program with either Bray Wyatt or Daniel Bryan. Both of which, around WrestleMania time, were involved in feuds.
Yeah, which was when he was doing this interview. But no, he's got his Bray Wyatt there, which Bray Wyatt, they've actually faced each other. NXT, and if that match is going to be an indicator of what we're about to see over the next month to several months ahead of us, oh my God, we are in for some awesome matches.
Assuming that this feud goes 3 months, 3 pay-per-views, how do you see it planning out at each pay-per-view?
They've been sort of trying to bury Wyatt without burying him.
I don't think they will with Jericho. I don't think
they will.
Because Jericho loves to put over young talent.
Yeah, Jericho definitely will not allow it. I think Jericho Battleground. Let's say it goes Battleground, SummerSlam, Night of Champions. Battleground. Give that one to Bray Wyatt. SummerSlam. Chris Jericho. You may flip-flop those, that way Chris Jericho takes the B pay-per-view, and then the other A pay-per-view of the year, SummerSlam, one of the other A pay-per-views, SummerSlam, goes to Bray Wyatt. Because, again, Chris Jericho loves to put over who he feels are top tier.
Look at WrestleMania 29, Fandango.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it at all.
No.
But it just goes to show you,
But he will do the job to put over talent that needs to be put over, and right now they have been, Bray Wyatt, we're gonna push you almost, and then we're gonna take the win away from you. And so you're gonna be top tier, but we're still gonna have you lose all the time to the good guys.
More like medium top tier.
Yeah, we're gonna have you lose all the time to the good guys. If you have him win at SummerSlam, so now they're at 1-1, Night of Champions. End it all, and Chris Jericho loses. Not only gets beaten, gets destroyed at Night of Champions.
Then you can
explains him getting written off.
Although I've heard that his Swazi tour is actually predicted to start, like their album tours, but predicted to start right after SummerSlam, so it may only last 2 months.
Yeah, but
then that leaves open, if it's only 2 matches between them, they split, he comes back several months later for a WrestleMania match with Bray Wyatt. That could be interesting.
Possibility. I've also seen a lot of stuff where he is slated to be in storylines through Night of Champions. September. So.
It'll be interesting either way.
But I'm loving this. He's back. I'm loving it for Bray Wyatt.
The Miz got the shitty part of Jericho's return, though. 2 code breakers. That's where he got his points. Jericho got points for a return. Actually, I think he got 10 points for his return. I don't think I gave him any points for anything else.
And he only got that much for a return because it was entirely unexpected.
I gave him 10 points for a surprise return, which really I should have gave him 3 more points.
You were mentioning what was it that he did to keep people from guessing that it was going to be him?
Oh yeah, he put pictures on Twitter and Instagram of him with his family in Canada, nowhere near where they were going to be.
The man's brilliant.
Now, even if I give him points for his balls, he's still going to be in at number 4. So,
but still, that return. Nice.
Yeah. Number 3, Roman Reigns, which I do think is funny. They renamed his music to have his name in it. I can't remember what it's called, but it has something to do with the word Reigns. They renamed the music because it was what's called Special Lot, and they renamed it because they took out the whole Sierra Hotel thing. What I think they should do, they should reboot that, but use Roman Reigns' name, maybe, or just the word Reigns or just the word Roman. That'd be kind of cool. Romeo, Oscar, Mike, Alpha, November, Roman Reigns. That'd be kind of cool. Something to that effect. I think it'd be kind of cool.
Nah, I don't.
Or at least give him saying something or something. At the beginning.
Roman Reigns is number 3. He's been awesome.
Funny thing, Poster Boy didn't make the list at all. He has 6 points. No, scratch that. He has 5 points. He had a win on Monday night. That's it. I didn't give him any points for being on the cover of WWE because that was kind of expected.
Yeah. Honorable mention. I don't know if he's in your top 2.
You can look.
Honorable mention. Seth Rollins.
And Dean Ambrose.
And Dean Ambrose. Their segments are going to be awesome from this point on for however long as WWE decides to carry this thing on.
Speaking of which, while we're on Roman Reigns, one more flash topic I didn't cover for a reason. There's been a little bit of talk about the finish to Royal Rumble 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Last 3 men standing. Reigns, Rollins, Ambrose. And of course Reigns will pick up the win as a babyface.
Yeah. But Rollins and Ambrose freaking ends up getting attacked in a match on SmackDown against Randy Orton. He couldn't help it. Rollins is sitting ringside. He couldn't help it. He had Orton down in the ring, runs outside the ring, takes his pot shot at Rollins, just the sort of, F you there.
Dean Ambrose is actually, he was 1 spot away
from breaking the top 10.
Yep, he needed 1 more point.
But no,
Him getting decimated by Seth Rollins at the end of that match is what kept him out of it, unfortunately. But he's still an honorable mention because he's number 12. Well, number 11.
Well, and so he runs back in the ring. He's fighting. Rollins hits him, giving him the win by disqualification,
which got him 3 points.
But he starts getting attacked by Randy Orton,
which lost him 3 points,
and Seth Rollins. And who comes to his aid? Roman Reigns,
big man himself.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a tag team match tonight.
That'd be kind of nice. Oh, well, we haven't got there yet. I just noticed that number 1 and number 2 actually flip-flopped, so I'm gonna go fix that real quick. Hold on, I gotta clear all this. Whoa, shit! What are you doing?
Whoa! Cancel. we can actually flip flop those later. Though.
Yeah, we can flip flop later, but we will just go ahead and keep talking. I'll flip flop.
Anyway, so yeah.
So yeah, keep talking about Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns comes out, saves his old buddy Ambrose. So those two, they may not be teamed together anymore.
They're still allies, though.
They're definitely still allies, and they definitely still carry around the weight of that betrayal from Rollins. Ambrose carries it around a little bit more so because he got betrayed by Rollins and didn't get immediately thrust into the main event.
And he also got screwed out of the freaking Money in the Bank.
Yeah, he got screwed out of Money in the Bank. But like he said on Raw, this is going to be more fun. His words to Rollins, his threat, his promise, I am going to haunt you. That
little segment where he's talking about going to jail, I want to know if that's real or not.
Mm-hmm.
I think I wouldn't put it past Dean Ambrose because he's been such a flamboyant character, even at Ring of Honor, well, not Ring of Honor, even in the Indies.
Yeah. He's muscling through right now. He hurt himself bad on that superplex off of that ladder.
Spot of the night.
It definitely was. The main event match didn't hold shit to that one. That spot from that match that night was the absolute biggest. No one can touch it. That was to me Money in the Bank's Hell in a Cell moment.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Number 2, Harper and Rowan.
Yep.
They beat the Usos and Sheamus on Raw. Did a bunch of other stuff on Main Event and on SmackDown. Same old stuff. Not really worth talking about. Even though they are number 2, there's not much we can talk about. Number 1 though.
I would love to see them with the belts. Just to legitimize them. Like they're already legitimate, but
I don't see it happening for a little bit because of their involvement with Bray Wyatt in that feud, which will help that feud a lot because it's a 3-on-1 odds number. But you also got to make Bray Wyatt stand out as a single star too, so they need to be limited.
Especially if you're planning to have him turn babyface later on. which WWE seems to be building towards that, but they're letting it build slow. They're letting it happen organically in the crowd instead of via storyline. And then they're just slowly letting, in the storylines, little bits of his character open up to where you could be like, I can actually see that part of him as a babyface. Or if he keeps acting like that, like, that's not the guy that we saw attack Kane like that last year.
He was booed that day. Now, he attacks somebody, everybody cheers.
Which, that might be something we could talk about at some later point. Why the fans are ruining the whole babyface to heel quota by cheering all the heels.
I think that's WWE's fault. They're not building up their heels properly.
They are.
Bad News Barrett, what's his heelish tendency? He gives bad news. He doesn't really cheat to win. You know, he doesn't really ambush people. That's what makes people truly hate somebody. That's what builds up a heel.
But then you look at the last time that you gave someone, or you use that sort of storyline, cheat to win, ambush them. It was Randy Orton when he was champion, feuding with Daniel Bryan, and it made him look weak as fuck.
Well, you don't have to do it very often, though. Randy Orton overused it. That's why he failed. Alright, so number one. But before we get there, Monday Night Raw was a night of returns. We saw The Miz return, and we saw Chris Jericho return, and then we saw Mrs. Phil Brooks, otherwise known as AJ Lee.
Otherwise known as Phil Brooks' first ex-wife, and my first ex-wife as well.
Keep dreaming.
I know. So, Phil, I don't have any issue with you. AJ, been a huge fan of both of you for a long time. I don't wish you any disrespect. So, please don't take any by my comments.
So, AJ Lee returns to Raw, challenges Paige to an impromptu Divas title match, and wins, and beats Eva Marie to give her 14 points of the week and the title of Superstar of the Week.
She wanted the championship
Funny
match.
thing, I saw a bunch of pictures on like Twitter and shit. It said, they showed a picture of AJ holding up the newly won Divas Championship, and then a picture of CM Punk. You liar! You told me you were going to get milk for the baby. Which, denounces all rumors that she's pregnant.
Yeah. Although, if you've seen pictures of CM Punk lately, he might be. Again, Mr. Brooks, I mean no disrespect.
Hey, he's enjoying his retirement, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, he's enjoying his retirement, and you know that he can take stuff like that in stride.
He would just probably look at you and say, "You have a vagina!"
If you haven't watched it, look up Nerdist Network online on YouTube. They have this bowling challenge that they do, where they have
I think we talked about that
a bunch of nerds. Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, we did. If you want to hear that story, go back to the previous episode. Yeah, it'll be on the side, on the playlist. You'll know that with all the plugs. So now we get to the main event of our podcast. I think we need to start naming this one, because this is Bottom of the Mat Productions. We need to start naming this one like main event or something. I think we will. We'll start calling this one main event, and then we've got, I don't know if we should, we'll think of something creative for next week. This one will still be called WWE Podcast, episode blah blah blah. Because we've got the WWE Podcast, we've got Nerd Now. Nerd Now's a creative name.
Yeah, but this segment definitely needs something.
We'll throw some ideas out before our next show. This is time for our main topic, quote unquote. We're not going to do a top 5 or anything like that because we don't have everybody here. But we're going to do a favorite face turn. I'm going to go first because I heard him do it over at a break. It's going to kick ass. So, my top face turn, and I don't know a whole lot about all this because I don't have a PhD in all things WWE.
Yours truly.
Last year at, I want to say it was Payback.
Feels about right, yeah.
Dolph Ziggler cashed in on Money in the Bank on Del Rio that night after WrestleMania. Got injured shortly after, couldn't compete in Extreme Rules. Del Rio earned a title opportunity. He was a babyface at the time. Fast forward to their match at Payback. Dolph Ziggler, fresh off a concussion, as the world champion and a heel. Del Rio repeatedly attacked his head, that injured cranium that suffered concussion, and the fans booed him so heavily.
To be fair to Del Rio, that was how he lost the championship to Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler attacked his head and his leg, which had been just destroyed by Jack Swagger.
And it was to the point,
and that night.
But the thing that sticks out about that match, it was to the point that Ziggler could barely stand.
Yeah.
Even after the match.
He re-aggravated a concussion. Like, legitimately re-aggravated a concussion.
He ended up getting his title rematch the next month, though, so obviously it wasn't too bad, but still. That's my favorite face turn. Now we move on to the doctor of... I don't want to say thugonomics, so that's terrible. The doctor of all things WWE.
Alright. It's February of 1992. You've got two men who are sort of teaming with each other because they can't stand Macho Man Randy Savage. Those two men are The Undertaker and Jake the Snake. They've been sort of allied together. Neither of them can stand Savage, but Taker has sort of started moving on to other pursuits, other rivals. And as they did, his rivalry with Savage died down, and maybe he started getting a little bit of a clear head. Jake the Snake Roberts, on the other hand, is, as always, very focused, very cold, very calculating, and he can't stand Savage. Savage is coming back from the ring with his wife / manager, Elizabeth, coming back from the ring, and he's going towards the curtain area on the stage, where you walk out to go to the ring, and then you walk through it to get backstage. And this was before the days of the Titantron, so Savage couldn't see what was going on backstage. But this was purely for the people at home watching television. They kept cutting to a camera right backstage that showed Jake the Snake holding a chair. And he kept saying, "Not quite yet." Kept peeking through the curtain, "Not quite yet." He said, "I don't care which one of them walks through first. You're going to get it." And the announcers kept calling, "Oh my God, someone get security. Someone get security back there. He's going to attack them with a chair." And it keeps showing Savage and Miss Elizabeth walking up the ramp slowly, and then cutting back to him sitting there with the chair. And finally, the last shot you get of Savage and Miss Elizabeth right as they're about to walk through the curtain, you see Miss Elizabeth is going through, and Jake the Snake had already said, whichever one comes through first is getting it. And he's sitting there, he's got that chair reared back. You see Elizabeth come through, and Jake the Snake starts swinging forward, and all of a sudden, his chair stops. Because Undertaker had reached over and grabbed the back of the chair and was holding it in place. So Elizabeth screams, Savage comes running back, sees Jake the Snake, starts throwing blows, they go to the ground, and Jake the Snake, like Savage and Elizabeth, like security separates them from Jake the Snake, and Jake the Snake just sits there, and he turns around, and Undertaker's just sitting there, shaking his head. Keep in mind, up to this point, Undertaker, he wasn't the Phenom at this point. He had only been in one WrestleMania. He had beaten Jimmy Superfly Snuka. He had only ever been in one WrestleMania. And he was a hated heel. Hated heel. And all of a sudden, he had just saved possibly the most beloved manager of all time, Miss Elizabeth, from getting brutally attacked. And the crowd, this is 92, so you got to keep in mind what kind of crowd it was. It's not today's crowd of, hey, we're going to boo the baby faces and cheer all the heels until it makes no sense who's in storyline getting booed and who's in storyline getting cheers, because nothing's going to matter when you get it out in front of
Fickle WWE fans.
When you get it out in front of a Chicago audience, nothing's going to matter. Back then, everything mattered. This was still the days of say your prayers and take your vitamins.
What you gonna do, brother?
And Undertaker just saved a woman from getting hit with a chair. That made him one of the most outstated and over faces in the WWE at the time, and he went on, of course, to defeat Jake the Snake Roberts at WrestleMania that year.
One more shameless plug back to Skyrim mods. Right now I have a mod equipped that changes the voice for your shout, Unrelenting Force. You use just the first word, you hear, "No, this is Patrick." Use both the first two words. "No, this is Patrick." You use all three. "No, this is Patrick." Apparently there's a similar mod. When you use it, oh yeah! I'm gonna download it. I'm gonna test it out, and next week you'll hear exactly how cool it is, because I'm gonna do the best I can to audio dub it. Because I am very excited about it. That'd be a cool one too. If I could figure out how to mod, I would be like, oh no! Alright, well that's all the time we have today. This has been Fish Food.
This is Doc.
Of course, the Triple B, as he is now named, and Rubicon aren't here, so we can't call anybody a Mitch except for the two of us. So we're just going to call them two Mitches because they ain't here.
Yeah, so those two can suck.
Y'all are Mitches. Hopefully y'all are listening, and this has been a Bottom of the Rap production. Peace out.
This podcast has been brought to you by Bottom of the Map Productions.